Script. The 5 biggest ships of the 18th century. Introduction. 00030. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's presentation on the 5 biggest and most remarkable ships of the 18th century. The Age of Sail was a time of maritime exploration, military prowess, and trade dominance, and during this period, several massive ships were built, often for war, exploration, and showcasing national strength. These ships were marvels of engineering and some became legends in their time. Let's explore the ships that defined the 18th century, each one an example of ambition, power, and technology. 1. The HMS Victory 032 o'clock. First up, we have the HMS Victory, arguably the most famous British warship of the 18th century. Launched in 1765, the Victory was a 104-gun first-rate ship of the line. At 226 feet long and weighing over 2,100 tons, it was one of the largest ships in the British Navy. Its fame, however, comes not just from its size, but its role in history. The Victory was the flagship of Admiral Horatio Nelson during the Battle of Trafalgar in 1805, a decisive victory that solidified British naval dominance. The Victory was designed to carry a massive armament of 104 cannons across 3 gun decks. It could carry a crew of over 800 men. But it wasn't just about firepower. The Victory was also a symbol of Britain's naval superiority during the Napoleonic Wars. Today, this historic ship is still preserved in Portsmouth, England, as a museum and a testament to maritime history. 2. The Santisima Trinidad 2 o'clock 3:30. Next, we have the Spanish ship Santisima Trinidad, often considered the largest warship of the 18th century. Launched in 1769, it was a 4-decker with a staggering 140 guns, one of the most heavily armed ships ever built at the time. The Santisima Trinidad was a true giant of the seas, measuring 196 feet in length and weighing 3,000 tons. The Santisima Trinidad saw action in several naval engagements during the 18th century, including the Battle of Trafalgar, where it fought against the British. However, despite its enormous size and firepower, it was eventually captured by the British in 1805 after a fierce battle. Its size and firepower made it a symbol of Spanish naval power, and it became an enduring part of naval history until it was ultimately scuttled in 1805. 3. The Royal Sovereign 3:35 o'clock. Moving on to the Royal Sovereign, another major British ship from the 18th century. Launched in 1786, the Royal Sovereign was a 100-gun first-rate ship of the line. Its design was innovative, as it featured a larger hull and better structural integrity compared to earlier ships. It was also significantly faster and more maneuverable than many of its contemporaries, despite its size. At 186 feet long and 2,100 tons, the Royal Sovereign had a formidable reputation. It played a key role in the Battle of Trafalgar alongside the HMS Victory. Not only was it a powerhouse in battle, but it also served as an essential part of the British Navy's fleet during the early 19th century, representing both naval strength and technological advancement. The Royal Sovereign's advanced design, combined with its impressive armament, made it a force to be reckoned with, and it was a favorite of Nelson and other British admirals. 4. The Victory, French, 5 o'clock 6:30. Now, let's take a look at the French counterpart to the British ships we've discussed, La Victoire. Launched in 1777, La Victoire was a French ship of the line, similar in size and design to the British first-rate ships. It carried 74 guns on 2 gun decks and was one of the most powerful ships in the French fleet. What sets La Victoire apart is its involvement in some of the most significant naval battles of the 18th century, including the Battle of the Nile in 1798, where it was part of the French fleet that fought against the British. Though not as large or heavily armed as ships like the Victory or Santisima Trinidad, La Victoire was still an important player in naval warfare, known for its speed and maneuverability. 5. The Rivadavia 6:38 o'clock. Lastly, we look at the Rivadavia, a Spanish ship launched in 1816, though it is often considered to have roots in the 18th century design. It was a 120-gun ship of the line and is regarded as one of the last and most impressive of the great age of sailing warships. Though it wasn't involved in as many famous battles as the other ships on this list, the Rivadavia represented the final evolution of the large, heavily armed warship before the rise of steam power and ironclad ships. Its size, weight, and firepower were unparalleled for its time. It embodied the technological advancements of the 18th century, though its commissioning came just after the turn of the century. Conclusion. 8 o'clock. To summarize, the 18th century was an era that saw the rise of massive warships, which were designed to showcase the power and naval capabilities of their nations. Ships like the HMS Victory, Santisima Trinidad, Royal Sovereign, La Victoire, and Rivadavia were the giants of their time, symbols of national pride, military might, and cutting-edge technology. These ships were not just impressive for their size, but also for the courage and skill it took to sail them into battle. Their legacy lives on today, as they stand as a testament to the maritime history of the 18th century. Thank you for joining me in exploring these magnificent ships. Let's remember that behind every one of these ships is a story of sailors who risked their lives on the high seas, shaping the course of history. End of script.